You do not truly defeat a narcissist just by leaving them. You do not defeat them by blocking or just going no contact. In many cases, that's only the beginning of a war, because the real battle often starts after separation. It starts when the narcissist realizes they have lost control over you and decides to fight back in ways you may not expect or may not be prepared for. For a lot of survivors, the first defeat happens when you walk away. Maybe you exposed their lies. Maybe you confronted their behavior. Maybe you simply chose peace over chaos. Either way, their ego takes a direct hit. But for a narcissist, that first defeat is not the end. It is the trigger. It is the moment they retreat to plot. They start thinking, planning, and strategizing. And this time around, it's not just about emotional manipulation. No, it's about legal attacks, financial control, social sabotage, and psychological warfare. They want to make you believe there is no way out. They want to bring you to your knees and prove you can never win against them. This is where the second defeat comes in. It's far more brutal and strategic than the first one. It happens when they launch their full-scale revenge campaign against you, and you still manage to turn the tables on them. They think they are on the verge of triumph, and suddenly their entire plan collapses. Let's find out how. I'm Samir, a narcissistic abuse recovery professional. Welcome to my channel. The topic for today is what happens when you defeat a narcissist the second time. What happens when you outmaneuver their calculated attacks after separation? Let's get into it. The first defeat, emotional blow. The first defeat of the narcissist is usually emotional. It's when you walk away, set boundaries, expose their lies, or simply stop playing their game. You may have gone no contact already. You may have confronted them. As I was explaining earlier, you may have simply chosen yourself, right? Whatever the form, the first defeat hits their ego hard. They experience a major narcissistic injury. Their fragile self-image cracks. This is the moment where you stop feeling their sense of superiority and grandiosity. And for a lot of survivors, that feels like the end. But for a lot of vindictive narcissists, this is just the beginning of their revenge arc. The second defeat happens after they regroup, after they have had time to stew in their injury, fantasize about revenge, and prepare their comeback. The second defeat, strategic warfare. It is not emotional this time. It is strategic. It is cold and prolonged. It often almost works. That's the scary part. Now, how do they launch the second attack? Well, once the narcissist faces the first defeat, they retreat to plot. On the surface, they may act indifferent or pretend they have moved on. There may be complete silence from their end, but behind the scenes, they're thinking, how can I bring this person down? How can I destroy them? They analyze your weak points. They look for legal loopholes because they're exploiters. They contact people who may take their side. They fabricate stories. They plant seeds in the minds of others. This regrouping phase is extremely dangerous. Why? Because they are quieter than usual. It gives you a false sense of relief, like, yeah, maybe it is finally over. But for a lot of narcs, it is the calm before the storm. Once they feel ready, what do? They launch the counterattack. This is where the narcissist's real beast nature shows. They may file false cases, fabricate evidence, or twist events to portray themselves as the victim. They may write pages and pages of accusations. They may bring false witnesses. Their aim is not truth. It is to overwhelm you financially. They may withhold money, stall settlements, sabotage your work, or use financial resources to drain you slowly. Some narcissists intentionally delay proceedings, hoping you will break under the pressure. Socially, they launch smear campaigns. As you know, they talk to mutual friends, relatives, colleagues, people who would believe them. They twist stories to make you look unstable, vindictive, or cruel. They want to isolate you so that when the real battle happens, you stand alone. Psychologically, they may attack people you love, your children, for example. They may hurt them emotionally, turn friends against you, or find ways to remind you constantly that they are still watching and waiting. Their goal is one. It's simple. They want you to believe that leaving them was a mistake. They want you to feel trapped, suffocated, desperate. And then comes the most painful aspect of the second defeat. It looks like they are winning while they are doing everything I explained earlier. The legal battle may feel endless. The financial pressure may become unbearable. The smear campaign may actually turn people against you. Temporarily, though. You may lose sleep, friends, and energy. A lot of people I have worked with describe this phase as feeling like being pinned down with no air to breathe in. This is exactly what the narcissist wants. They want you exhausted because this battle goes on for years. They want you scared. They want you cornered so that you give up, break down, or return to them out of fear. This is why the second defeat is so different. It's not a one-time blow like the first. It's a long psychological war. It can last months, sometimes, as I was saying, years. But that's not where the story ends. Turning the tables, the second victory. A lot of survivors defeat the narcissist the second time. How? By flipping the script during the narcissist revenge campaign. How do they do so? By not reacting emotionally and by responding strategically. They get legal help. You wisely use everything that you had documented. You do not fall for their provocations. You stop defending yourself to people who have already chosen to believe their lies, who have revealed themselves to you. You redirect your energy from panic to preparation and delivering the blow. You stop trying to prove your innocence to flying monkeys. That is not where this battle is fought. Instead, you build a strong foundation behind the scenes. You become unpredictable. You make quiet, solid moves that expose their lies slowly where it matters. And then, one day, their elaborate plan collapses. The legal system may eventually expose their fabrications if you fight them well. Their false witnesses may crumble under questioning. Their smear campaign may lose momentum when people start getting bored or start seeing through their inconsistencies. Financially, they get exposed so much that they're forced to give you your fair share. Psychologically, they see that you are no longer feeding the drama. This is the second defeat I'm talking about. It's not always public, but it is devastating for them. This is when the true collapse happens. Have you defeated the narcissist the second time? Let me know in the comments. Now, why did I say the second defeat leads to a true collapse? Because the first defeat may hurt their ego, but the second defeat crushes their illusion of power and erases their narcissistic identity. They genuinely believed that once they launched their revenge plan, you would not stand a chance. They had invested time, energy, and reputation into destroying you. They saw their attack as their path to victory. But they are fools indeed. When that entire plan fails, they are hit with something they rarely experience: total loss of control. They realize that their best strategies could not break you. This is unbearable for a narcissist, who has built their identity around fake winning. They often experience intense rage mixed with disbelief and shock. They may try to make one last desperate move, but it's sloppy, unplanned, and very weak. The psychological impact on them is beyond devastating. Not all narcissists react the same way after the second defeat, but of course there are some common patterns. Some retreat completely. They disappear into silence. Why? Because the humiliation is too much to bear. Some spiral. They may jump into new relationships quickly, focus on something else, throw themselves into distractions, or double down on their image to cover their loss. Some keep trying to repair over the years, but their attempts are half-hearted and rarely as effective, because they know deep down that you can see through them. Now, what remains constant is this: the dynamic is broken. The power they believe they had over you is completely gone. Conclusion: what does all of this mean for you? Well, going through the second defeat is not easy. It is far more painful than the first. A lot of survivors underestimate this stage. It can break people emotionally if they're not prepared for it, if they do not know what is coming for them. But those who navigate it strategically come out with something unshakable. And what is that? A deep inner strength and clarity. You stop fearing their next move. Why? Because you have already faced their worst and stood your ground. That is exactly what you needed to do. The narcissist, on the other hand, is forced to live with the reality that their biggest attack did not land, did not bring you down. And that is something their ego will never fully recover from. I would like to know from you, what is your experience? Let me know in the comments. With that, let's bring this episode to an end. Thank you so much for listening. I will talk to you in the next one.